3D Kwanzaa Kinara acrylic nail art tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you a Kwanzaa theme design, and the main thing that I want to just quickly mention in the intro is that the tip is done with, you know, one of those little X-Acto knives that you cut away the acrylic to make those really sharp lines and do geometric stuff. I have done some of those file to reveal designs in the past, and I forget how much I enjoy doing them and how satisfying it is to make these things. And so when I got the idea to do it in this one, it was such a fun process to kind of, I don't know, do after I haven't done it in quite some time. So I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys like it as much as I do, and please click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
So I'm going to begin by creating my nail bed and my smile line with a cover pink acrylic. So I'm just going to go and create this, and I really want my smile line to be really nice, and this nail is coffin, so I want it to be a little bit deeper than I sometimes would make my smile line, a little bit more almost, not quite to a V shape, but you know, a little bit more of almost like an almond shape. And take that down just like that and make sure my smile line is nice and sharp. So after I have it, I kind of like to go through and like retouch it up with my brush after I add the bead near the cuticle. And then I'm going to be adding the two sections of acrylic that are up in the corners of your smile line. So I'm going to add a white side, and then the other side I'm going to put gold. And then using my X-Acto knife or any little blade like that will work. I'm going to very carefully, especially if you're doing this on a client, on an actual person, make sure you do this very cautiously, very carefully. Cut away to make those nice straight lines. So it's really nice to be able to do two of them at a time, because by the time you get the acrylic applied to the second one, your acrylic has set enough that it's really easy to cut away. Otherwise, it's a little stickier and it's a little bit more difficult of a process, but it does work. And it does also help a lot if you dip your blade into just either white or clear acrylic powder, just to kind of create a barrier between the metal and the acrylic so it doesn't get all gunky. And so the colors I'm using on the tip are red, green, gold, white, and black. If you don't want to use gold, you could also use like a yellow. That would be perfectly well. I really like gold. I think it creates such a little glitziness and a metal. I know. I really prefer using gold instead of yellow in almost all circumstances. So I made sure I did that. Same thing as like with my penguin video that I did. I also said that, you know, you could, instead of doing her gold beak, you could do it with yellow or orange. Same scenario. You can not do the gold if you don't want to. And the reason I did the first two as two and then the rest of them all one color at a time is because the first two didn't touch each other. But then as you're working, you can't have two of these colors that you're working on at a time that are right next to each other. And as the tip narrows and as you get, you know, farther and farther down, they're all touching. Each new color that you add is going to be touching a different one that you applied just a moment ago. So you kind of have to do them one piece at a time. And if they do go over the edges of a color next to it, it's not the end of the world, because you are going to file it, and all those little lines that don't quite look perfect right now will look perfect soon. And the one downfall though with using gold there is that you lose a little bit of the metallic quality once it gets filed. Not so much to the extent that it doesn't look gold anymore, it doesn't look good, but it just gets a little less bright. But that's fine with me. I knew that was going to happen. I was like, oh, you know what? It's worth it. So anyways, I've got the last two sections. I'm going to do one more with red and then one more with green, or one more with black, I'm sorry. I did two of each color. So 2 white, 2 black, 2 gold, 2 red, 2 green. And then taking a straight edged bit, this is kind of like the little key. You're going to have a much better result with straight lines if you use a straight edged bit. It just kind of creates a easier process of filing any of that excess acrylic away. Thin out the tip of it, and you're going to reveal all of these gorgeous straight lines you created. So all your lines are going to get so much crisper, so much cleaner looking, and they're just going to look so much more precise after that. And then encase your nail, since at this point it's probably very, very thin, with a layer of clear acrylic. Now, if you had very thick sections of acrylic as far as like deep, you may not need to encase a nail with clear acrylic, but I would guess that most of the time as you go through and you do the filing, you're going to end up with a pretty thin nail after that. So you're going to want to just make sure that then you go through and you do add your layer of clear acrylic for strength. And then file the nail once again. This time instead of using that straight edged bit, I'm going to be using a coarse bit that's kind of a bullet shape, just to create, you know, the nice, good nail form. And then I'm going to take a different straight edge tip. This one is much finer. And I'm just going to be going over the entire nail just to create a very nice, smooth surface. Then apply a layer of gel sealer over the top of the entire thing. And if you're doing this as a set, I would do at least a couple accent nails just like this, not add the Kinara on them, but just have that really geometric, angled tip on there. That would look so cool with. and then have maybe one with the Kinara. I thought that would be so. Then I applied some builder gel along just a little bit down from the cuticle, and then added 7 gold rhinestones. So just right in a straight line right across there. And then in the center one, so the 4th one from either side, I'm going to be adding just a black stripe coming down for the black candle, and just take a little tiny bead of black acrylic to do that, and then add a slightly larger bead to the right of it of green, and then set that down, and then use the tip of your brush to kind of carve away to create 3 separate lines out of that for 3 green candles. Very easy to do, especially on top of the gel sealer. That gel sealer creates a very slick surface for the acrylic to be sculpted on, and it makes it so that you can create these clean lines very, very easily. And then I'm going to be doing 3 red candles on the other side. So same exact process, set down the bead, and then kind of just take the tip of your brush and carve away those little indents or the little spaces between the candles. Get rid of your extra acrylic, clean that up with a little bit of monomer if there's any kind of staining. The red is going to probably be the most willing to stain, I guess you could say. And then taking some gold acrylic, the same gold that I used in the tip, I'm going to be actually adding the Kinara on underneath my candles. So just going to start with a half circle with a flat edge at the base of each candle, and then just add that along so it's got that nice curve that kind of goes with your smile line. And then after you have your nice curve in place, add just a little flat area, a little square at the bottom of it for the stand. And then with black paint, I'm just going to be adding a couple little outlines on my Kinara so that it really shows up and kind of pops out from the rest of the nail. So just add a little bit of outlining around the bottom of it, the bottom edge, and then add a couple little lines, almost like carving lines in the middle of it. So just little curves that kind of go parallel to the rest of that, and then apply some matte top coat over the top of just the gold Kinara. I didn't worry about the candles or anything else, just that part of it. And that is it. I hope you guys like this nail. I know that having those tips as for the rest of the set would just look phenomenal. So please share your creations with me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to see them. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!